Hello everybody, PK21 Crust back with the Wizzro guide today. So, Wizzro is a kind of weird character because he's basically a projectile character and he covers a really wide range. So you think he would be really good at crowds, but he's actually not. But he's really amazing at 1v1. So it's kind of weird, but anyways. So for weapon skills, you're going to want Strong Attack, Strength 2, Strength 4, Strength 5. Those 4 you definitely want, and then also no healing and finishing blow plus, those are pretty much required as well. For the last 2 slots, you're going to want either Strength 3 versus Dragon or versus Undead for the first slot. That's kind of like interchangeable if you use Strength 3 a lot, otherwise just go to versus Dragon. I'm probably going to switch out to versus Dragon, but maybe not, I don't know. And then for the second slot, you'll either want Hasty Attacks or Special Attack Plus. Maybe regular attack plus, but special attack plus is probably better. So, you want that because Wizzro, if you have hasty attacks on him, his weak string is mostly just to zone out characters. But if you have hasty attacks, since he does move forward while using it, he kind of moves forward with the projectiles, so it's not that good at zoning out characters with it. So that's why some people would prefer to just not have hasty attacks. So that's kind of just something if you want to consider, but whatever. So let's just start off with the weak string, like I said. So yeah, he moves forward while using it. Except this hit, he moves backwards. And then that last hit, that's probably one of his best crowd clearing moves because he's not that good at clearing crowds. And also, the range on it is quite nice. It basically goes to the other line over here. So it covers about that much range. It's pretty wide, so that's a very nice attack for clearing out crowds because everything else he has is kind of lackluster. So now his strong attack, he has his hand, he grabs stuff and slams it. That does a ton of damage. That instantly breaks weak point gauges. It's a great attack to use in 1v1. And not at the beginning of this, but while he is throwing enemies right there, he's invincible. And his hand, but I don't think his hand even has a box. But yeah, like, while he's right here, before he grabs enemies, he can still be hit, so that can be kind of risky, but it's definitely worth it because of how much damage it just deals. It's silly. But it doesn't go through super armor, it does go through shields though, so that's something to consider as well. Number 2, he throws out a little, like, fish thing or whatever, I don't know. He has those a lot. So that is basically an infinite on almost anything. Without hasty attacks on character enemies like Link, Zelda, Ganondorf, Sia, well actually not Sia because Sia's weird. They can fall out of it, but if you just continue spamming this, they'll still get comboed, so it is basically an infinite on everything. It breaks shields too, so that's very nice. So yeah, he's like kind of like Gearheim, where he's not that great at clearing crowds, but he's really good at 1v1, but more extreme. It's because the strong attack and combo team mostly, but yeah, he does. And yeah, since it goes through shields, you don't have to like time it or anything. Okay, so now combo 3. This one's a kind of tricky attack. So okay, they just kind of go forward and they don't really do anything. So what's the point of it? Well, if I don't get hit, basically if you use a weak hit on the orbs as they're flying across, they can, if you hit the orbs while they're flying with a weak hit, then the orbs will explode, and this is really nice for attacking like multiple captains that you can lock onto. So if you do this, and that means you basically want to dodge cancel right there, just so you can like keep up with them. And yeah, you can do it at any point into the attack, except like in there. But yeah, that has like a decent amount of damage. It doesn't have that much range, but it's a kind of nice attack. It's kind of niche. It doesn't, you're not probably going to use it a whole lot, but it does have some nice uses. But yeah, you're not going to use it much. So, number 4. Main use for that attack is giant bosses because that just shreds through giant boss weak point gauges incredibly quickly. But that's also his best crowd clearing move, but only if the enemies, if like the moves die in like 1 or 2 hits. Otherwise, you really shouldn't use it. On this mission, they don't, so it's not that good. And that's a sweet. Yeah, that's just kind of low. But, so, yeah, it's like this is a red zone mission. I'm pretty sure. So, of course, they're not gonna die in like 1 or 2 hits. But if you're like really high leveled with a perfect weapon and you're kind of playing an earlier mission, then this is an amazing move for clearing keeps. And that should be working. Otherwise, yeah, just giant bosses. Combo 5. That's probably his other best crowd clearing move because you can also turn it while using it. It also does just a lot of damage in 1v1 situations. And, I mean, look at this range. You can... Okay, not quite, yeah. About that far. It's about here, so... Yeah, you have a lot of range with that. So that's really great for 1v1, and also because the other hits in his weak string kind of launch enemies up into it if they're not shielding. That can... That's a really great attack, in 1v1 specifically. So basically, Wizzro, yeah, he doesn't really have that much options against, like, taking keeps. Other than if you can kill him in 1 or 2 hits, C4, otherwise you're going to want C5 and just keep string. And also a tip is, because like the last hit launches backwards, you can kind of like turn around. So if you're trying to like approach enemies like this, I mean, that basically removes the zoning from him, but if you're trying to clear keeps, zoning is really that big of an issue. And then basically in 1v1, C2 is infinite, and then use strong attack to just deal a stupid amount of damage. And have invincibility while using the attack against, not while you're like starting up the attack. And also after they slim down to range and so yeah, I'm invincible right there and pretty much everything else. And then C3 you can kind of use against like right here I would probably use it just to like spread out the captains a bit. And then and then finally his special attack. His special attack is actually pretty good. Yeah, it's nice range and the damage is also pretty high, so yeah, that's really great too, but there's not much more to say. So just on giant bosses because there's not really much else to say about this character. It's like C3 is like the only kind of tricky thing, but everything else is pretty straightforward. So yeah. So yeah, Wizzro kind of wrecks giant bosses with very little effort. Pretty much all you do, like I said, C4 was a really great attack against giant bosses, and that's all you need, just spam C4 against giant bosses. It takes them all down. I mean, that was just one use, and that's already happened. So, yeah, you don't really have to do much there. Again, it's pretty straightforward. He's not really that complicated of a character, just C4 against giant. So, yeah, his lack of being able to clear crowds that well is pretty much his only flaw. But everything else is pretty decent, but it's just like clearing crowds is just painful as him, honestly. But yeah, basically in 1v1 missions, so like quiz missions or defeat all enemies missions, giant boss missions like this, he's amazing at them. Just rack up your KO missions, probably avoid doing those missions with Wizzro. But yeah, he's still really good. Not much of this character, so that's probably it for this week. Okay, bye.